So today we're going to do the whole lot of factorised parabolae, which means going right through to the end of writing equations. First of all, we're going to learn to draw them. So last year you learned to draw y equals x squared. That's a parabola. And we learned that for the ordinary graph, it starts here, which is called the, what's that point called? The vertex. Good. The vertex. And from there we go. Does anybody remember the pattern? We're going to go one out, one up on either side, and then good, one out, three up, and we follow that odd numbers pattern. All right, so it looks like that. So 1, 1, 1, 3, and the next one would be 1, 5, 1, 7, 1, 9, because that actually gives us the square numbers. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, which is that one, and those 3 makes 4. 3 squared is 9, so that's 1 and 3 and 5 makes 9. All right, so that's how we get it. So that's a normal y equals x squared parabola. We're going to look today at ones that have been factorised. So we're looking at the form y equals k, x minus c, x minus d. Right, 2 brackets for a factorised quadratic. So what we're getting here is, first of all, we're getting the x-intercepts. All right, so c and d are the x-intercepts. And that's usually a very helpful part of the information. So let's have a look at an example. If we've got y equals x plus 1, x minus 2. You'll notice that I haven't put a k in this one just at the moment. We're just going to deal with an ordinary one first. So our 2 intercepts are c equals -1 and d equals 2. Now there's something else that we can find out as well, because c and d multiplied together will give us the y-intercept in this case. C times d, so -2. All right, so at the moment the information we've got is that it goes through at -1, 2 and -2. All right, we also know that a quadratic is symmetrical, so there's a line halfway down the middle. So halfway between -1 and 2 is close, halfway between here. Good, a half. So we know that the vertex is going to sit on that line, halfway between those two. How can we find that out? We can go 2 plus -1 over 2 equals a half. All right, that tells us where it is. Now that half is also the x-coordinate of our vertex. All right, so although it's the dotted line, it's also the x-coordinate of the vertex. So we can find the y-coordinate by putting it back into here. Y equals a half plus 1 and a half minus 2. So that equals 1½ times 1½, which is, believe it or not, 2 1/4. All right, what have I done wrong? Anybody got it? Come on, you can see it. Yeah, a half minus 2 is negative. And I knew that because I needed it to be down here. All right, negative 2 1/4. So now I've got my picture. It goes like this. I just have to hit those points and make sure it looks vaguely symmetrical on either side. Okay? So what happens if we've got a K? If we've got a K, that's that stretch. Same K as we had in absolute values. It's going to pull it up this way or squash it down if it's less than 1. Or if it's a negative, it will flip it over. All right? So let's have a look at another one. E.g., we've got y equals negative 3x minus 2 squared. Oh. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that one. Change my mind. Going to go for minus 1. Okay. There's a reason why I'm not going to, but we'll come to that later. Okay, so C equals. So down the side of our picture, we're going to write C equals 2, D equals 1, the y-intercept equals, which is
2.
C times D equals 2, K equals negative 3, and that tells us that it's upside down and pulled a lot. All right, so now if we go to drawing that, oh, that's a really crooked straight line. Okay, we've got 2 and 1, all right, and 2. Oh, good point. So now that we've reintroduced K here, we have to multiply this by K as well. So 2 times negative 3 equals negative 6. So now we've got it. It's down here somewhere. Way down here at negative 6. Okay, so our graph is going to look, and how did I know I was wrong? Because if I'd had it here, it couldn't have been upside down, could it? I couldn't have gone upside down through those two and up to here as well. So I knew I was wrong just by using my very small, very tired brain of the day. So that's what my graph looks like, but I don't know what that point is, and I need to because it's part of the graph. So the vertex has an x coordinate of what? Good, well done. 1.5. So to find the y coordinate, I need to put it in here, and you can just put it in your calculator. So y equals negative 3, go. 1.5 minus 2, bracket, bracket. 1.5 minus 1. Somebody put it in your calculator. Tell me what the answer is. Just put it in exactly as it's typed there. You don't need to use your brain. You can use your calculator as long as you type it exactly and get right. Let's go. What do we get? Using our calculator. The answer is Jack's been calculating it for half an hour now. What did you get, Jack? Perfect. Negative? Positive 3/4. There you go. So this point here is 1.5 3/4. All right. So just put it in your calculator and out it popped. No problem at all. All right. So that's how to draw them. Now we need to know how to find the equation. And the equation is actually quite easy to find. So if we've got a drawing, let's go over here and I'll rub this one out. So, equations. We've got a picture, and it goes like this. There we go, and it goes through -1, 5, And let's make it yucky. No, let's not make it yucky. -3. There we go. Okay, so that's our diagram. We're going to find the equation for that. It's the same equation. So we take our equation, y equals k, x minus c, x minus d. All right, what is c? -1. Or it could have been 5. It doesn't matter which one's which. C is -1 and D therefore is 5. All right. So again, just like yesterday when we were finding the equation, we now know y equals k, x plus 1, so we've got minus minus, and x minus 5. So we've still got too many letters. We've got x's, y's, and k's. We need a point, not the vertex. So our point that we're going to use is this one. What's the coordinate for that point? 0, -3. So vertex is not the vertex, it's the y-intercept equals 0, -3. So that's x and that's y. So -3 equals k, 0 plus 1, 0 minus 5. So we've got -3 equals 1, -5. 1 times -5 is -5k. So -5k equals -3. What does k equal?
-3 over
-3 over -5. Nice away. Negative over a negative is positive. 3/5. So our equation to this picture here is y equals 3/5. Oh, where did we have 3/5 yesterday? Goodness. Plus 1 minus 5. Okay. Happy? Push. Right, that's what we're going to do today.